being recorded. Oh, there you go. There's your notification that is being recorded, and we'll be sure to those who aren't able to attend right now, and they will be able to celebrate at another time. You're welcome to turn on your webcam if you like, but keep in mind it's being recorded. But if you like, you can turn on your webcam, and so we can see your beautiful faces. Please stay muted. Refrain from using the chat too much, otherwise it may distract the event. You will definitely have opportunity to express your joy and happiness later on. So if you take a look at my background, I have the agenda posted. So we're gonna have important people talking here, and then we're gonna have events happening here. This is where you get to express your joy and happiness. So we have half the time you can express your beautiful emotions here. So we're gonna get started and invite our first speaker, which is the Dean Emily Allen. So let me click on this one. Whoop, wrong one, sorry. We're gonna welcome Dean Emily Allen, who is the Dean of College of Engineering, Computer Science and Technology, and she will share some words of wisdom.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Emmy graduates, I'm so glad to see that you've joined us for this virtual celebration. Unfortunately, we've had to postpone your actual commencement ceremony, but tonight we recognize and celebrate your accomplishments together virtually. I thought I'd share a story with you. When I graduated from high school in the last century, and then when I graduated from college with my engineering degree, and again, when I completed my PhD, my parents attended my graduations and they were joyful moments. The graduation ceremonies were held inside in hot auditoriums or outside in the rain on the steps of a mighty library or in the bright sun in an immense football stadium. I wore my cap and gown, each one getting fancier as I progressed in my education. Each time I remember feeling a large weight come off my shoulders. And I also remember an enormous sense of uncertainty as I wondered what would come next in my life. The one thing I can't remember about any of my graduations is anything that any graduation speaker said. A year from now, you won't remember anything that I say this evening, but you will remember a big weight lifting off your shoulders. And you'll also remember finishing your undergrad degree at home, learning remotely while sheltering in place with your family, chosen companions, or on your own. You'll also remember your sense of uncertainty, magnified now by the state of the economy and the pandemic situation. You'll certainly remember our nation in pain as citizens of cities across the nation react to a series of horrendous wrongs. But slowly, as time moves on, as the next phase of your life begins to take shape, you'll remember your favorite professors, the classmates you studied with, the staff who helped you out, the moments where you understood something deeply for the first time, and the projects where you designed and built something you never thought you would be able to do. And when you look back at your education, you won't remember that your graduation recognition was virtual. You'll only remember that Cal State LA was the starting point for your career as an engineer. We are here to celebrate you today. We are so proud of you and what you have accomplished, and we look forward to hearing about where you go next. We know you will be leaders in your field and within your families and communities, and that you will change the world for the better. We hope to see you back on campus for an in-person commencement ceremony later in the year. In the meantime, please hold on to your identity as proud golden eagles and soar. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Allen. Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Nancy Warter-Perez, who is the chair of the Department of Mechanical Engineering.
Hey, all, congratulations, graduates. We are so proud of you. You know, as engineers, you're going to have the opportunity to really change the world. And it's basically through your passion, as Emily would say, passion and compassion, and also your engineering mindset and your know-how, that you're going to be able to look and find problems that need to be solved, and also use all your skills to figure out better ways to do things, new ways to do things, and not just at work, not just in your engineering occupation, but also within your communities, especially to help those most in need. And especially now, when we see all that's going around, when we're about to go under another curfew tonight, you know, it's really important to look for those opportunities to make a difference, to use your critical thinking, to see how can I make this world a better place. And I also am just so proud of you, and I want to recognize not only you for your hard work and what you've accomplished so far, but also for your families and your friends who've helped you to get this. To your parents, to your grandparents, to your sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles, spouses, kids, everybody. We really want to thank you for helping our students to reach their dreams. And I also want to acknowledge our faculty and staff, the faculty within the department, other faculty across the university that you've interacted with, and all of our staff. You've had advisors who've helped you along the way, T. Fox helping you through your career, many people here, your club advisors, all sorts of people who've helped you. And not only that, your fellow students who've helped you through your educational journey. So we're all honored to be part of your educational journey, and I want to recognize everyone for their part in helping you reach where you are today. All right, Jim.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy Warter-Perez. Now we have some words of wisdom from some of your favorite professors. The first one is Dr. David Raymond. Dr. Raymond is Associate Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He is the Director of the Applied Engineering Biomechanics Lab and the Co-Director of the Biomedical Engineering Minor. He would like to share some words of encouragement and lifelong learning. Dave?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So first, I'd like to congratulate everyone on your academic achievements and for graduating with an engineering degree from Cal State LA. As everyone here knows, obtaining an engineering degree requires a significant commitment, sacrifice, and persistence. It's a time to celebrate with your family, your friends, fellow engineering students, and even professors. So I'd like to say a few words here today about your future career in the engineering profession and the role of lifelong learning. So this may surprise some of you, but your education as engineers doesn't end at graduation. Sorry to say. In fact, it never ends. The term lifelong learning was defined by Dublin, Ireland's Department of Education and Science as the ongoing, voluntary, and self-motivated pursuit of knowledge. As you enter the engineering workforce, there'll be a significant learning curve involved with stepping into an engineering position that will involve technical knowledge acquisition, workplace acclimation, and personal growth related to your professional behavior and relationships. Navigating this time will require you to draw upon the grit, commitment, and work ethic you have practiced over the past few years. There will be a significant difference, however, in these new uncharted waters. There'll be no syllabus, no course description outlining what you shall learn, to get a specific grade, no professor giving you the right answers. So how will you navigate these uncharted waters? What will serve as your compass and guide? The answer to these questions, I would argue, must come from within. An inherent desire to achieve excellence in your practice as an engineer is at the core. The need for lifelong learning as a practicing engineer will always be driven by the ever-changing world in which we live. Technology advances and even the creation of a whole new industry or new industries will drive educational requirements associated with future engineering positions. To remain competitive in this continually evolving world, we must continue to learn and grow with it. Throughout my career, I've continually gone back to the fundamentals of engineering from my undergraduate education, sometimes purposely and sometimes unexpectedly. I felt I became a better engineer each time I found myself connecting an engineering challenge in practice with the fundamentals of engineering. The fundamentals are the foundation, and much like the foundation of a home or building, they are essential to supporting all that are built on it. You've already taken one huge step to ensuring a strong foundation in the fundamentals of engineering by obtaining an engineering degree. There's more that you can do, however, to establish that you have the requisite foundation in your chosen field, and that's to become a licensed professional engineer. Becoming a licensed professional engineer is a multi-step process that starts with obtaining an engineering degree from an ABET-approved program. So congratulations on checking that one off the list. The next steps are passing the Fundamentals of Engineering exam and then passing a second exam called the Principles and Practice of Engineering. Once you've done that and you've gained the sufficient working experience in the engineering field, you will be eligible to become a licensed professional engineer. So some of you know I recently sat for the professional engineering exam and I passed it, I'm happy to say. And I obtained my PE, they call it, Licensed Professional Engineer's License. So what was that like? Well, preparing for the exam was a significant commitment, even for a professor. I logged in approximately 300 hours preparing for it over about 3 months. While I know studying and sacrifice are nothing new to you, my point is that it doesn't end just because you have a degree under your belt. I encourage you all to consider obtaining your PE license, not just to have some fancy names after your name, but to fulfill your commitment to the profession of mechanical engineering, to serve your community with dignity, to use your engineering knowledge for public good, and to practice at the highest level of engineering standards. In closing, I'd like to congratulate you again on your achievements, and please connect with us on LinkedIn to the Mechanical Engineering Alumni Group. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Raymond. See how many people clap for you? It's amazing. So now I would like to invite Dr. Chris Bachman. Professor Chris Bachman is the Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Director of the ECST Makerspace. He's also the Senior Design Instructor, specializes in electrochemical energy storage, and is the advisor for Baja and Formula SAE.
Thanks, Jim. So it's really exciting to see so many names I recognize in the list here from Senior Design and the Baja and Makerspace and ME 2030. I think with that, I can safely say that all of you have recently been faced with a sea of obstacles in addition to the ones you face pretty much every day, and you've continued to persevere. You've pushed forward through at least 4 years of grueling schedules and classes and work and extracurricular activities and more. But now you've done it. You've earned your bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, so you should be extremely proud of yourself. That's no small feat. So cue the loud cheers at this point. I know it's kind of quiet. It's not a woo. It's not a graduation celebration without a little bit of cheering. So an experience I had with many of you in the audience that I'll never forget was when I was advising and traveling with our Baja SAE team on our competition to Washington State in 2017. We ran into a multitude of engineering problems. Our brakes would only work once we took a blowtorch to them. The steering wheel broke off in Juan's hands and it sent him into a ditch. The throttle pedal got stuck in the fully open position. That definitely helped us move up a few positions in the race, but it was a scary few minutes for Juan, I think. And finally, the back half of the car fell off and we had to hold it together with ratchet straps. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong that year. It took working in the dirt and not sleeping for 4 days to finish that race, but we did. I think this experience for me is really reflective of all of your perseverance and dedication. I mean, this year the team has already finished they've recovered. This year they've already finished in the top 6 over 150 universities in their first events. And this perseverance and work ethic has really shaped who you are as engineers so far. So what happens next, you all know. So you'll be applying to what seems like a kind of an endless stream of entry-level engineering positions. This is kind of another major exercise in perseverance as well. You'll need to continually push forward, put yourself out there. You'll be rejected without even a reply to let you know that you've been rejected. So don't get down. This is happening literally to everyone. Doesn't matter if you're first year or second year, my wife has been in the field 10 years. She does the same thing. So, but this isn't the first time you've had to overcome an obstacle. So keep trying and you'll make it happen just like you did this degree. So with that, I just want to say congratulations, be proud of your amazing accomplishment. Keep doing what you've been doing as an engineer these last 4 or 5 years, and you're going to do great things.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the inspiring speech. Now we have 3 exciting speakers, student speakers. Well, not students anymore, I guess alum speakers, graduate speakers. Very exciting. The first one, we're going to invite Alexis Kem to say a few words. Alexis Kem will be joining ACCO Engineering System as an HVAC design engineer for commercial building this August. She's also applying to graduate programs to further her education and wants to specialize in urban sustainability design and construction. So floor is yours.
Right. Hi everyone, and good afternoon. It's nice to see all of you here safe and healthy during this time. Seems like the bare requirements are, met, but I'm so honored to speak in front of all of you today, even under these circumstances. For the last 5 years, Cal State LA has been my home. In 2015, I stepped onto this campus, a freshman, like a lot of my fellow friends here. And, I was only 4 feet tall and 8 inches, and I was 12 years old at that time and totally clueless. But, when I first declared myself a mechanical engineering major, I had no idea what that meant. I just liked math and wanted to design products to help people. But this school gave me an opportunity to pursue higher education and explore my interests, to find out what mechanical engineering is all about and that I love it. At Cal State LA, I was able to pursue my interest in engineering, create a club to support women in science with some of my friends, and be part of an amazingly vibrant community with all of you. I'm really grateful that Cal State LA has been an amazing environment to learn in. You can't find an education like this anywhere else. And I've looked. We are one of the most diverse campuses with people from a variety of backgrounds and perspectives that has only enriched my education. At this school, we have a community like no other, where I've made many friends who are here today and many wonderful mentors that have been super supportive. In fact, I consider many of the people here today as part of my family. I want to, speak to my classmates and to say that, not to forget about all the things that, we've accomplished at Cal State LA. Together we survived Fluids Lab and adapted to the changing demands of our senior design projects. We poured our hearts into our student-run clubs and projects, research and studies. But like Dr. Raymond said, self-isolating doesn't mean we aren't a close community anymore. We're still a family. And can everyone hear me still? Oh no, okay, good. I got a little warning sign. So as I was saying, we're still a family and we have to look out for each other. I've been shaken to the core by, I'm sure, many of you have as well, by the recent events in our community. It feels more and more like the apocalypse every day, and it's really scary. But, instead of descending into further chaos, it's the time now for us to come together. Engineers aren't just going to be the ones building our machines in the future, but the ones that need to step up for change. And as things are changing every day, as engineers, we're still, the best problem solvers, and we need to adapt because our communities are counting on us to rebuild our society after this pandemic and to set the new foundation for our future. On behalf of the class of 2020, I want to thank all of our friends, family, faculty, and staff that make our dreams possible. I have to thank Cal State LA and the ECST College for opening up so many doors for me that I never even knew existed. And I'm really excited for our future. From what I've witnessed with this class of 2020, we are strong and resilient, and we're gonna get through all of this. We've all heard the word unprecedented a lot lately, but it isn't an inherently negative word. What I'm trying to say is that out of all this darkness will come a new age. It's an unprecedented one. And with that, we're going to need unprecedented solutions in order to address unprecedented problems of the modern world. But that's where we come in. And so, like many of you, I started this path of mechanical engineering to help others and innovate. We entered with such pure curiosity, and I hope that you will reignite and continue to hold on to that. I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes that I live by. Mahatma Gandhi once said, live as if you are to die tomorrow. Learn as if you are to live forever. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alexis. Beautiful speech. Our next speaker is going to be Juan Castro. Juan Castro is passionate about automotive and aerospace industries and is looking to apply his skill sets in vehicle dynamics and component optimization for a design engineering role. The floor is yours, Juan.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Quell. This is amazing. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Having spent my final months of undergrad quarantined, a part of me wished I could have spent it all with you, but it's not about how your college career might have ended, but rather what brought you here in the first place. My first couple of years on campus consisted of sitting in class hoping those 75 minutes were over soon so I could sleep in my car under Salazar Hall. And having been the first in my family to go to college as well as pursue a degree in engineering, all I knew is I had classes to pass and that this would all be over soon once I walked across that stage. Then I found Baja, or rather they actually found me by yelling at students walking across the main walkway during the tabling events to see if they joined. Having spent a large portion of my life working on cars, I thought the team would be a great fit and would look great on my resume. As I walked through those garage doors, the thought of it would look great on my resume would no longer be a reason for being a part of the team, but rather growing as an engineer and placing well during competition. The first year I joined, it was a bit intimidating, especially since Baja builds these vehicles from the ground up, utilizing actual engineering practices. That didn't push me away though, but rather pulled me in, and I knew that I wanted to take a leadership role and eventually become the captain of the team. Quite some high standards from someone that was just sleeping in their car only days prior. My following years on the team started with cleaning and organizing shop tools to becoming the steering and composites lead and eventually reaching my goal and becoming the team captain and the front suspension lead. During my time competing with the team, we went from placing 64th overall to 24th overall. These experiences allowed me to grow as an engineer, which is the basis of the team and its overall goal. Organizations like these were often overlooked, and it has allowed students to apply what they've learned in the classroom to real world applications. But all of this couldn't have been possible without the people that make up this team. The 2017 team captain, Luis Fernandez, not only served as a well-rounded team lead, but also someone I could rely on for guidance, not just through schooling, but through life. It wasn't his job to do so, it wasn't part of his title, but he did it anyways, and I couldn't be more thankful. Team members quickly became lifelong friends, and the team became more of a family. One of my longest friendships came when I met Reggie Lau, future rear suspension lead and co-captain extraordinaire. We both had joined the team on the same day, and since then, we stuck by each other and grew as young engineers together. If I wanted to do something daring at the lab, I knew I could always count on his support, and vice versa. We developed well as a duo, which ultimately led us to leading the 2019-2020 season as the captain and co-captain together, something we always talked about doing, managing a race team. But I also want to congratulate the sales team on placing top 10 in the world this year, and our design team is set to compete this Wednesday. We grow with one another, we compete with one another, and we strive with one another. The people are what makes this team. My point is, organizations on campus not only provide great technical resources, but also builds your network and creates lifelong friendships to help you grow as an individual. My second year at Baja, we were assigned a new advisor for the team, Dr. Bachman. He was new to campus and was relatively new to Baja, but let me tell you, this man has absolutely no shortage of motivation. Dr. Bachman from the beginning has pushed the team to a new standard of engineering, both through technical and manufacturing support. He has been an outstanding mentor and friend to not only the team and myself, but also the entire College of ECST. I couldn't have made it here without his support. I recall a late night in the Baja lab preparing the vehicle for testing the next morning, and Dr. Bachman showed up in his PJs with a handful of Gatorades and ready to help us wrench on the car. This shows me that the faculty at Cal State LA are more than just those that give us grades and follow a curriculum, but also care about our well-being and only have our best interests in mind. There's so much more that I can say to sum up these years here at Cal State LA, but to those at Cal State LA, faculty, advisors, alumni, fellow peers, the Baja SA team, and especially my friends and family, I thank you for such an amazing experience, and we'll be back to continue to push for the rise of the Golden Eagles. Congratulations to the class of 2020. And one more thing, happy birthday to my mom. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Juan, for the beautiful speech, and happy birthday to Juan's mom as well. And this will be recorded forever. Our final speech is going to come from Joseph Iorio. Joseph Iorio is starting a position as an associate engineer at SpaceX this month. He will be relocating to Texas to join SpaceX's Starship team. He also plans to enroll in an online mechanical engineering master's program next year. The floor is yours.
Hi. Hello? Good? Okay. Hi, everyone. First, just let me say congratulations to you all. Being one of you, I do know how hard you all worked, and if you're like me, it took you a very long time, maybe longer than it would for a lot of your friends. But yeah, just again, congratulations. This is a huge accomplishment. So my story at Cal State LA, like many of you, I'm not unique in this respect. I started at Cal State LA as a transfer student. And I know for a lot of us transfer students, when you transfer, you're so worried about these like scary big lecture halls with a million students and the TAs teaching the class. But luckily when I came to Cal State LA, it was the exact opposite. And I felt very at home coming from a community college because I had such a high faculty to student ratio, but yet the professors were experts in their field, and they were still people that I felt I could easily approach with questions or help. And so something I really wanted to highlight was that I owe so much of my success at Cal State LA to the faculty, and in particular, Dr. Shen. So maybe some of you know me, maybe some of you don't, but I got really immersed in Cal State LA's engineering community through Dr. Shen. Like I think if you're graduating now, I think all of you, we all took Dr. Shen's circuits class. I know maybe that was a rough experience for some of you, but for me, it was the beginning of achieving my dreams. So I approached Dr. Shen after circuits to ask about joining the RoboSub team that he presented on the first day of class. And that was sort of the beginning of it all. I joined RoboSub in 2017, and I was a part of the team ever since, eventually becoming the vice president and the mechanical lead. And being in the RoboSub lab and around the robotics lab, I also got involved with some research with Dr. Shen. In doing that research, he also pushed me to participate in the annual research symposium, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's like it's a thing that Cal State LA does where students from all over the university, not just engineering, come and present their work. And the first year I participated, I worked so hard. I practiced my research presentation like more than 30 times. And so by the time, because I just wanted to do so well, and by the time I practiced in front of Dr. Shen, he was like, sounds good. He definitely had some comments, but the work ethic that being a part of RoboSub and in the robotics lab had instilled in me, I knew that when I showed up to that symposium, I needed to win. And that year, I was very happy to represent the mechanical engineering department and win the competition. And so that is a memory that I'll cherish forever as a personal achievement at Cal State LA. But I think echoing in what Juan was saying about Baja, RoboSub was very much that for me too. And I know everyone that was involved in a campus organization has developed lifelong friendships and bonds with other engineering students. And I think the one thing that I can relate to, and I think that accurately characterizes all the engineering students at Cal State LA is that we're all scrappy. I think Cal State LA engineers are some of the best in the world at making something from nothing or from very little. And that sort of mirrors the engineering problem-solving process that, you know, we all hate come exam time. But, you know, I think my entire degree can be summed up by starting at F equals MA. So you start with something so small and you end up with, having your stokes. And I think this process of squeezing the most out of life and situations, I think, is what defines engineers, and in particular Cal State LA engineers. And so it was a pleasure working with you all, and I look forward to hopefully working with some of you in the future. I know if I ever see Cal State LA on a resume, hopefully one day I can make hiring decisions. And if I ever see Cal State LA on a resume, you're definitely getting put on top of the pile. So yeah, to all of you, never give up and stay scrappy.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for all the speakers, Alexis, Juan, and Joseph. Now we managed to recruit 2 distinguished alumni to speak to you all. The first distinguished alumni is Salvador Rojas. Salvador Rojas graduated from Cal State LA with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering in 2016 and a master's in mechanical engineering in 2018. He performed research under the advisement of Dr. Shen and started the American Society of Mechanical Engineering chapter and the robotics lab, along with help of his former classmates and graduates among us today. He is currently pursuing a PhD in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Purdue University in the field of dynamics and robotics. Salvador's goal is to become a professor in the future. Floor is yours.
Is that my cue, Doctor?
That is. Your name's on here now. I managed to change it in time.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Can I get a woo from everybody?
Woo!
Yeah. There you go. There are my classmates. Okay, guys, first and foremost, it is an honor to speak in front of the College of Engineering, Computer Science, and Technology graduates of and my alumni, Cal State LA. I am especially grateful to be a part of the conclusion of this chapter of your life and help see the transition into your next chapter, especially those of you that I've worked with throughout your academic career since your freshman year, and it makes me so proud to see you here today. First and foremost, congratulations, you've made it. And you know it feels good. Your parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, friends, and loved ones, everybody that is by your side wants to embarrass you with happiness. This is great. Remember all the long days, sleepless nights, and sleeping in classrooms, overnighters in the first week of the semester. Thank you, College of Engineering, for providing these memories. Do I want to remind you of these agonizing moments and nights? Yes, because they define the hard work we paid to be here, and they provide a means to an end, and above all, the confidence to pursue your future. Every one of you graduates is a problem solver, and this fact makes being an engineer unique. You took on the challenge of attaining a degree in STEM, whether you're an underrepresented minority, first in your family to go to college, first engineer in your family, or first to know that you can be great. And on top of that, the center of gravity of all your problems shifted from outside of the classroom to your homes, your streets, and all over the world. But that didn't stop you from achieving your main goal. You adapted and you converged. There are humans in space currently, and everyone that had something to do with that space launch started where you started. Just know you are next in line to be a part of the next great adventure. Let me tell you a little bit about myself if Dr. Koh didn't sum it all up. Thanks. And why I think you can relate. I'm a first-generation student, minority, and former foster youth and product of Edmund D. Edelman's Children's Court right across the 10 freeway of Cal State LA. I earned my BS and MS in mechanical engineering at Cal State LA, and now pursuing a PhD at Purdue with the help of many from Cal State LA, as you might have experienced. And my message is this: believe in yourself, and with determination, grit, and hard work, you too can accomplish your goals. The common denominator is that we've all experienced hardships, and we've all overcome them. To add, some we have yet to even encounter, but the training we've sought for and have been given has prepared us for the unprecedented moments we endured and are still to come. We put our faith into our professors, and they did the same. Put your head down and embrace your upcoming challenges, and trust that you've been equipped with tools to solve the problems ahead. You graduates have experienced adversity, and today many others are experiencing adversity. Take the leap into greatness and lead by example, that you can still succeed with many challenges in front of you. That is you all. Be an inspiration to your peers, colleagues, and for the future generation. My advice to you is that if you're going to do anything at all, be the best at it. Believe it or not, you've been doing this. The best you wanted to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering, and here you are. Just keep following your heart and always strive and prosper, because you are the leaders of your generation. You are looked up to. You will be looked for help, and you will gain followers that want to help you. Build your network, become resourceful, and seek and never turn down help. Whether you're pursuing graduate education, going into the industry, or starting your own business, stay sharp. We all know that the grind is agonizing, but it is gratifying, and through hard work and faith, you have put yourself on the right path to follow your heart and help those in need, those you started this journey for. One last note, as leaders of your generation, amid the uncertainty, we have learned to respond calmly to the inevitable changes of life without causing ourselves misery, but growth. We have learned how to respond to life as opposed to blindly reacting to it. Please represent your community and protect your city of Los Angeles and your loved ones by informing the world destruction and anarchy are not the solution towards justice in today's current events. Leave this world better than you found it, and leave a lasting legacy so great that you can't be thanked for it. Congratulations to a wonderful group of engineers and class of 2020. A little note from Neil Armstrong. Humans have an inquisitive nature, and that manifests itself in our desire to take that next step, to seek out the next great adventure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sal.
Yep.
Our next speaker is Ricson Chude. Ricson Chude is a professional engineer and graduate from Cal State LA in 2008 with a Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He works as a program manager at Southern California Edison in the Energy Efficiency Department. Ricson is the current Vice President of Association of Energy Engineers SoCal and was a former president of the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, or ASHRAE, Southern California chapter. Ricson is the recipient of the 2018 Cal State LA Alumni Golden Eagle Award. He is currently serving on the Cal State LA Mechanical Engineering Industrial Advisory Board. The floor is yours. Ricson? Ricson? Maybe some troubles.
I will try to track down Ricson. Let's see. I can't see if he's on. There's so many people on. I'm not sure if he's on or not. But we will.
Search participant list. He's not on the participant list.
All right, so I'm going to reach out to him to see if he's having any issues. So should we move on to our next, and then hopefully if he joins us, we can do that afterwards.
Sure. So our next event is going to be your time. So our next event is going to be interactive. So let me go back to my nice thing I drew here. So we're going to do some fun activities here. So the first activity we're going to do is you're going to be able to express yourselves in live messages. So I'm going to pass that to Dr. Nancy Warter-Perez to describe how this activity works.
All right, hi all, congratulations again. So we are going to do a Padlet, and I just put the address for this particular Padlet. We're going to do two of them. The first one, we're going to share what were your favorite memories and accomplishments at Cal State LA, and then the second one, we'll thank the people who've helped us get to where we are and to reach our goals. So if you see there's a bright, if you put that, did everybody see where I put in the chat box, the link? And then if you see that and put it into a browser, you'll see what I'm showing you on the screen right now. And you'll see that there's a little pink at the bottom. And if you click on that pink, you're able to type things. And what I'd like you to do is type your name. And so, you know, my name goes here, your name goes here. And then just type a message, type whatever. You can shout out to, Baja or RoboSub or ASME or anything. You can say anything about your favorite memories, accomplishments, anything, okay? And then you also can then, if you see somebody else's, you can either like it by just clicking on the little heart, or you can add a comment, okay? So we just ask that you, keep them clean, and go at it. So everybody can just, read others, and you can scroll up and down as more of them get added in, and just comment and whatever you want. Okay. So we're going to do this for about 5 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more than that. And then we'll we'll switch over to another one where, like I said, we can thank those who helped us to get here. Okay. Alrighty, so just anybody want to try it out to see if you can do it? So click on the little link. Do I have a guinea pig? Let's see, in the chat. Let's see. You don't see the button to add notes. That would not be good.
Yeah, Nancy, I'm having trouble seeing the plus sign as well to add.
All right, let me see if I need to change something here.
I think I can add a comment for one that's existing. I can't add new post-it notes.
Let's try a different one then, because let's see. I copied and pasted one, so I'm wondering if that just messed it up. So let me just do this and go to this one, and let's go to the thanks one. We'll just try that one, see if that works. You can still do the memories and everything. Okay, let's see. Was that the right one? Sorry. Let me make this a little smaller. There we go. Let's see, the dashboard, the thanks. Nope, that's showing up as favorite memories and accomplishments. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's try this one. See if that one works. Okay, let me try this one. We tried this before, so let's see. Does that work? Everybody try that one instead?
That works for me.
All right, let's just go with this one and start out with your favorite memories and accomplishments, and then we'll transition into thank yous. So go for it. Put your name at the top and then just type whatever you want and go for it.
Wow, we're getting a lot of activity.
It's so deep. It's not just black.
La mesa está aquí.
Mom, I can't swim.
Ella solita se puso mute.
What? Both of the babies can't swim. Mom, one of the babies, both of the babies can't swim. Ah! Help it!
Mute herself and then I press unmute here.
Dile que ya cuelgue, porque estamos grabando, mijo. Ya cuelga.
So we'll probably do another couple more minutes and then we can move on to kind of the yearbook that we haven't planned, but we'll keep this in the background. You can continue to leave post comments.
Yeah, and actually, if people want to transition to, I know some people are already thanking people, but thanking your parents, family, friends, anybody you want to shout out to thank them for how they've helped you along your journey.
I think I have to say this on the record. I thought this is pretty funny. Onyx says, Dr. Brew, I'm sorry I had lunch in your labs many times, even though you said not to. That's going in the record books now.
I replied.
I've got to say, this is a great group of students. Congratulations to you all. And we really are so impressed by your resilience through really tough times, not just right now through your whole time at Cal State LA and transferring over if you did, but especially right now too.
Okay, shall we move on to the yearbook?
Yeah, sounds good. Alrighty, so I'm gonna move over to, let's see. This is our Bright Crowd. So you all got an invitation to join and create a yearbook page. And so I just wanted to share some of the yearbook pages that you can see. And you have the time, you can do it anytime within the year. We encourage you to do it sooner rather than later, but it's just a nice way to connect up with your fellow classmates. And so it's easy to search for mechanical engineering. So these are, so far we've got 21 students who've signed up in mechanical engineering. You know, you can just click one and then scroll through the ones that you search. So some people have just started to create a page. Some people have gotten a chance to put a little bit more on their pages. And so I encourage you, and that's the neat thing. You can just, you know, it can grow as you have the time, and Tom made a pie. But as you have the time, it can grow and become more and more. So I encourage you to do that. And so you can put in here all sorts of different things. Let me see. Just got a frozen. Okay, don't know why that froze. Let me see. Maybe I'm at the end. Let me see. Redo search. So here we've got, for instance, got Alexis is here. Since you've heard a little bit about Alexis today, you can see how she also put together hers. And you can see now, yeah, he's graduated, right? So, you know, the check mentioned here, but, you know, you can reach out to family, friends, favorite memories, you know, when you were a student, all sorts of things. So all sorts of different things you can put here. So I encourage you to create a page, and it's a neat way, again, to interact with one another. Okay. All right, and now we do have Ricson Chude here. So you want to just reintroduce him quickly, Jim, and then we'll turn it over to Ricson?
Will do. So Ricson Chude is a professional engineer who graduated from Cal State LA in 2008 with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He works as a program manager at Southern California Edison in the Energy Efficiency Department. Ricson is the current VP of the Association of Energy Engineers, SoCal, and was a former president of American Society of Heating and Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, ASHRAE, Southern California chapter. Ricson was the recipient of the 2018 Cal State LA Alumni Golden Eagle Award. He currently serves on the Cal State LA Mechanical Engineering Industrial Board, Advisory Board. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you, Nancy, for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity. It's quite an amazing time that we live in, but this is always going to be a great time to be together with faculty, students, and celebrate a great achievement. I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, I'm a fellow Cal State LA graduate, as mentioned, and one thing I want to assure all the graduates that regardless of when you graduated this year, next quarter, or a few years back, like myself, one thing is always true, that with a degree in mechanical engineering, you're equipped very well to tackle anything you decide to take on in the future years. So I give you confidence in that. You know, while we may not be with friends and family today, for obvious reasons, you are taking a great next step in your life. And I want to make sure that you take advantage of the opportunities that are going to open up. Whenever there's a challenge in the world, there's also opportunities that open up for creativity and inspiration. So a few things, words of advice. Continue building networks. Of course, you know, your students, fellow students, make sure you keep in contact with them. Same thing with faculty and staff. They were going to be your resource in the future. Don't forget about the Cal State LA Alumni Network. It's a great tool to stay engaged and also always give back. And lastly, I would say continue learning. Be inspired to always go to the next level. If you plan to take a PhD program or a master's program, or even just being, you know, the best that you can into your specialty, become an expert in your field, I encourage you to do that and continue excelling. So with that said, once again, congratulations to the class of 2020, Mechanical Engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricson, for the beautiful speech. So now we're concluding this event. We're going to ask Dr. Nancy Warter-Perez to say a few words for some closing remarks.
Hey, what was your plug that you were supposed to put? Your hashtag?
Oh, I thought I'd do that at the end.
Oh, okay, you're gonna do it at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that at the end.
All righty, all right, sounds good. All right, so I just wanted to take a couple minutes to close us out here. You know, you were all Golden Eagles, and you know, we want to congratulate you again on your accomplishments. And you know, as Golden Eagles, you're leaving our nest, right? You're leaving the Cal State LA nest, and it's a vulnerable time. It's a vulnerable time for many reasons, but just in general, whenever you graduate, whenever you're transitioning to the next step, it's a vulnerable time. And there's a woman, Brene Brown, who studies vulnerability and talks about it as, if you're not vulnerable, you're not challenging yourself. You're not, you know, really pushing yourself to do the next thing. She argues that you can't have courage you can't really reach great heights unless you're vulnerable. So I know everybody right now might feel vulnerable. I remember being in your shoes and feeling like, oh my gosh, what's next? If I knew where I was going, I was going to grad school and I had an idea of what was going to be next, but I still felt really kind of uncomfortable about, I don't know these people at this grad school. I don't know what's next. Or if you don't know quite what your plans are yet, again, it's vulnerable either way. But that's good. We grow through vulnerability. We can't soar as golden eagles without that. So I just want you to sort of embrace this time as you're continuing, you're going to succeed, as many people talked about today. You've got, as we say, the grit to succeed. You've proven that over and over again. Just not only just getting to Cal State LA and then graduating, you've got that grit, you've got that ability to succeed. So don't be worried that you're going to be vulnerable, and just continue to apply what you've learned and just go step by step. And as you leave the nest as a little fledgling eagle, you'll start to find your wings, and you'll really start to soar. And then you're going to fall, and that's normal. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to do as well as you wanted to about something, and that's okay, because again, that's where you're going to grow stronger from that. So I encourage you to just embrace it. Realize that you have what it takes to be successful, and remember us and come back. Okay, because you're going to learn so much through your journeys, through your flights, that we want you to bring that back to us to share with us personally as faculty. We love to see what's going on with you, but also to your fellow students that have been in the future will be where you've been in the last couple of years. Just remember how much you valued when alumni came back, when people came back to help out in senior design. Just remember how important that meant if somebody coming back in a competition to help out in your design competition or something. So hopefully you can take the time and come back and share some of your wisdom and mentor some of your fellow Cal State LA Eagles. So again, congratulations. We wish you the best and continue to soar. Jim?
Thank you. So as the MC, I got the final word. So I have some final words to say. Congratulations. Stay in touch. You have a lot to share. Please connect with us on the Cal State LA Mechanical Engineering LinkedIn group. That way we get to see how you're doing, and then we can connect with each other. Since this video is being recorded, you will receive an email with a link of this recording. And I've included some hashtags, so I'm going to spam the chat right now, and so that you see this whole thing. So there's two hashtags. One is the Cal State LA grad. That's the first hashtag. I forgot the hashtag on the first one. The second one is Cal State LA ECST grad. So if you're planning to take pictures, share your stories, share your academic journey, don't forget post it. If you're planning to post this on social media, don't forget to use these hashtags. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Take care. Come visit us. We love people who visit us.
Thank you.
Jim, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful summer. Congrats.
Thank you.
Great job, Jim. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Ricson.
Hey.
See you, Ricson.
How you doing, Fox?
I'm great. How you doing, bro?
Doing great. I just figured out the camera. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, if anybody wants to chime in as they're saying goodbye, shout out. Feel free to. Bye, Elson.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.